artificial intelligence, or AI, is bigger than ever. Chances are, if you own a smartphone, there is some sort of AI program running in the background to help optimize the phone and to improve the user experience. Now, obviously, computers thinking for themselves sounds kind of sketchy, but it also sounds kind of cool, if I'm honest. And one of the interesting things that AI is able to do nowadays is draw pictures. There are programs available where you simply input a command of what you want a picture of. Say, I want a picture of a beautiful river. I would input that into the program, and then the AI would draw what it thinks a river is. Computers learning to draw. That was the inspiration for this video, because if a computer can draw, then a computer can draw an image of a fishing lure. And if I have a drawing of a fishing lure, then I can recreate that fishing lure in real life and take it out and try to catch fish with it. Yes, folks, you heard it here. In this video, I am going to take an AI-generated image of a fishing lure and bring it to life, and we're actually going to take it out and try to catch fish with it. This is going to be amusing. So I went ahead and downloaded this app right here onto my phone. This is an AI image generator. So basically all I have to do is input some text. I put in fishing lure right there, and then I click create. And the AI will go to work and try to create an image that represents a fishing lure. All right, so the AI has spit out an image. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so this computer is struggling with the idea of a fishing lure. As you can see, this is kind of a jumbled mess of colors and shapes. I can see the resemblance of some hooks, kind of an eye. So there is elements of fishing lure-ness in this photo, but to say that this photo is a fishing lure is kind of a stretch. So I ended up playing with this AI app for a little bit, and I actually got it to spit out two images that don't look like abstract trash. So this is the first one right here. As you can see, this one has the basic body of what looks to be some sort of a crankbait. It's got a nice big eye right there, and then it has some sort of a hook red thing out the back. And then this one actually has some sort of a bill coming out the front, so I can definitely work with this. The next one right here is also very, very cool. It has more of a traditional crankbait shape. It has this like red thing coming out the nose, which I guess could be a bill. It's got a nice eye right there, and it's got kind of a weird tail coming out the back, which is also interesting, but I can definitely work with this as well. So those are the two photos that I'm going to be using to design my fishing lures for this experiment. Again, those images were totally generated by AI. They're quite random, they're quite abstract. They look really, really weird, but I'm gonna try and bring these lures to life and actually take them out and catch fish with them. Let's see how this goes. All right, so first thing I did is take the pictures and trace the outline of the baits onto a piece of wood. Then I fired up my Dremel and went to work shaping. And this took quite a while, as you can see, lots of shaping with the Dremel to get the actual shape of the bait down. Once I had the basic shape of the bait down, it was time to round it off and add some more details, which again, I did with the Dremel. And again, this took forever. I did this with both baits. It took many hours of work. Finally, I got the finished shape of the bait, as you can see there. This is the second one. Nice shape to it. Then I went ahead and cut a slit in the nose for the bill. So then I went ahead and inserted the metal bills into the front of the baits. This is going to provide the diving action, and then I epoxied it in place. Alrighty guys, so I'm out here actually under a bridge by a creek, and what I'm doing today is actually putting the baits in the water, tying them to a fishing line, and seeing if they have the right action. So what I've done so far is carved out the basic shape of the bait. I've put belly weights in the bait to get it to sit right in the water, and I've attached the lip. Now it's time to actually put it in the water and see if it has the right action. My guess is these baits are going to need a little bit of tuning to get them to run straight through the water. As you can see, I put a lip on this thing already. I actually put some belly weights in the bottom as well, and I've attached hooks. Now it's time to put it in the water, but now it's time to put it in the water and see if it has a decent action. Fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. All right, so as you can see, when I put this bait in the slow-moving current, it does have a nice side-to-side action, and it looks really promising. The problem is that as soon as you speed that bait up, it starts to pinwheel. So I think that bait's gonna need a little bit of tweaking with the bill. Thankfully, I installed metal bills onto these baits, so it's actually fairly easy to tune it up and down and left to right. All right, so this is the second bait that I'm gonna be testing out today. This one has no hooks on it. It does have the lip installed, however, and I did put a belly weight in the bottom in order to stabilize it. Let's see what it looks like. So as you can see, this bait looks a lot better. I can actually pull it through the water at quite a fast speed, and it does not flip over. So that is awesome. Now, does this bait have the best action in the world? No, but it's definitely very usable. This bait is about 80% there. Once I put hooks on it and give it a couple more tweaks, it'll be ready to roll. So after countless hours of shaping, sanding, gluing, and painting, I finally have two baits that are finished, and I am ready to take them out and see what the action is like. So let's take a look at it. So this is the first one right here, and as you can see, there is the bait right there. Now this was based off this image right here. I tried my best to physically replicate the shape of the bait and the color scheme. The color scheme is a little bit so-so, but I think I did a good job with the shape. Obviously the bill in the photo comes straight out, and in this particular bait I had to bend the bill down in order to get this bait to have somewhat of an action in the water, so that is the reason for that. So I did have to make some tweaks to it in order to make it somewhat of a functional lure and to give it a chance of actually catching a fish. But there it is. This bait looks really, really weird, I'm not gonna lie, but I think this will catch a fish if the action is good. Fingers crossed. I am not a professional at building lures and hand painting things, so the paint job is a little rough. So moving on to the second lure, and the one that I'm the most excited about. Again, this was the original image that it was based off of, and here is the actual lure. Honestly guys, I'm actually excited to try this thing out and see how it works. This looks more like a traditional crankbait, and I think it's gonna have a better action than the first one. As you can see for the tail, I actually went with some feathers instead of like a hard tail, just because it's just easier to do, and it's gonna give the bait a better action. If I just made a solid wood tail on the back, it would make the action of the bait really, really weird. If you look at the actual tail in the photo, there is some lines on it that kind of look like feathers, so I took some creative liberty with that. But yeah, there you go. That is the finished bait. It looks really, really interesting, I gotta say. Very, very weird. This took a lot of time because, again, I was trying to build two functional lures from scratch off of a photo that was generated by an AI. But honestly, guys, I'm really happy with the way these turned out. I think I got pretty close to the original photos. Obviously, I had to make a couple tweaks here and there, but that's what I had to do in order to make these fully flushed out fishing lures. But with that out of the way, let's take these things out in the water and see if they can catch fish. Fingers crossed. I'm curious to see what these look like when I put them in the water. Let's see what happens. All right, so the time has finally come to test out these lures and see if they can catch a fish. So I'm gonna start off throwing this bait right here. This one I have the least confidence in, that's why I'm gonna start with it first. I'm gonna put it in the water, see what the action's like. Fingers crossed this thing has a good action. Like I said, I'm not very hopeful, but let's see what happens. I'm just gonna flip the bait out and retrieve it. Okay, so upon first cast, there is one major flaw with this bait, and that is the fact that it's just pinwheeling through the water. So I'm gonna have to make a couple adjustments to it, I think. And I'm gonna mess around a little bit with the lip angle, maybe bend it down a little bit and see if I can't get a little better action. But so far, this bait does not look good in the water. All right, so I made a couple adjustments to this bait. I adjusted the lip a little bit, and I actually got this bait to swim pretty decent through the water. I can't reel it super fast, but if I reel it at a nice, slow, steady retrieve, it's got a pretty decent action in the water, and I think this thing could catch a fish. All right, now to try out this bait right here. This one I have pretty high hopes for. I did some testing with it earlier, and the action seems pretty good, but now that I got the hooks on it and this feathered little trailer and the paint job done, I think this one actually has a good shot of actually catching something. All right, first cast with this lure. Let's see what it looks like. Not bad at all. All right, guys, first catch with this bait. I am very impressed with the action. This thing definitely has, I think, the best overall action. This other one's pretty good, but it's a little bit more finicky. This one you can reel pretty fast. It gets a decent amount of depth, and it has a pretty good action. The little feathered tail on the back adds a nice wobble to it. Overall, pretty impressed. This is definitely, I think, the bait that I'm gonna be fishing with the most. All right, so I've tweaked this bait and I know it's got an okay action. Now it's time to actually try to catch a fish with it. And for this particular bait, I opted to go fish this pond right here. The reason being, out of the two, this one has the worst action, so I'm gonna need the best possible scenario in order to catch a fish with it. And that scenario currently is this pond. It's full of bass, and my fingers are crossed that one of them will hit it. All right, first cast with the bait at the farm pond. Let's see if anything hits it. Oh yeah, right now. Boom, first cast. Largemouth bass, first cast. That was insane. Like I mentioned, this pond has really good fishing. Just like that. That bait barely hit the water and that bass is on. Whoops, he just flopped off. See you, bud. Oh yeah. Oh, that was insane. Again, that bait barely hit the water and that bass absolutely smoked it. Come here, bud, I'm just skiing him in here. Look at that. Right there. First fish. Just like that. On the AI. All right, so I'm out here first thing in the morning, out at the lake, gonna be testing out the AI lure again, trying to catch a fish with it. We caught some bass with the smaller lure at the farm pond, but today I want to try and catch a fish with this lure right here in an actual lake. So that provides a little bit more of a challenge because this lake is no farm pond. The fishing in here can be challenging. The fish are kind of picky, and a lure this gaudy, I'm gonna be hard pressed to try and catch something today, but it's early in the morning. There's a good shad run going, so I'm hitting some spots where I know there's a lot of shad, and hopefully there's some hungry bass hanging out. Let's see what happens. There you go, fish. Just like that, boys and girls. Nice little bass right there. And that was not out of a farm pond, that was out of an actual lake right there. Beautiful little bass. Let's put him back. So guys, as you can see, I was able to catch a fish with both of these lures right here. Honestly guys, I'm very happy with the way this experiment turned out. I'm super excited that I was actually able to build these lures from an AI generated image and catch fish with them. It was super fun. Definitely was a lot of work. It was not easy, but I got the job done, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to support the channel, check out the affiliate links in the video description. If you click on one of those links and buy some lures or something on Amazon, I get a little bit of kickback and it helps me to continue to make videos. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more fishing experiments like this in the future, let me know down in the comments below. Again, thanks for watching and stay hooked. I'll see you later.